Hi guys, today I want to talk to you about my little trusty little notebook I got right here. This is the basically the Declaration of Independence and U.S. Constitution, little pocket-sized thing. Um, and in here is basically the founding documents of our country. And the Constitution is the basis of our government. The Declaration of Independence was like a petition, a protest, um, of why it was a letter to the king basically saying we're done with you and this is why these are our issues that we have with you, British. And in that constitution, our founding fathers specifically enumerated powers that the government had because they were used to a king or a dictator or a tyrant. They're used to somebody who took the right to claim any power that he or she wanted, and our founding fathers didn't agree with that. They took the view that all men were created equal, that king, lord, peasant, slave, and the rest, white, brown, black, yellow, purple, orange, were all equal. They all came from God. They were all created in God's image, and that and because all men were equal and came from God, they came with with certain rights that were given to them by God. Um, and of course, you know, some of our founding fathers didn't fully follow those convictions to the end. As we know, we had slavery and stuff like that. America dealt with slavery for 100 and something years, 150 years or so. Um, and we still kind of deal with the legacy of slavery, except for it's more of a like a feudalism, a neo feudalism, where we have a rich and a poor class. Um, this is where we're ultimately heading right now. Um, but anyways, back to the Constitution. The Constitution was specifically our founding fathers specifically wrote into the Constitution the powers to restrain the power of the executive, the power of the legislature, and the power of the judiciary. Um, and they wrote in checks and balances to restrict those powers so that not one branch or not one person could have um, ultimate power because they saw that absolute power corrupted absolutely. And so our founding fathers took the view that power corrupts. So they wanted to limit power in one specific person's hand or one branch of a government's hand as much as possible. And so what they did was they basically created chains and shackles on the government, um, and what the king could do, or what a dictator could do, or what the president can do, or what Congress can do. Um, our founding fathers specifically wrote this document to chain the government down. And in this document, in the Constitution, you have Article 1, Section 8. Article 1, Section 8 basically lists the things, the specifically enumerated powers that Congress has. I don't want to go through the executive branch and the judiciary, but I want to just talk about Congress. Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. Now, I can make an argument for many things that aren't uniform. But then I also think there's a lot of things that aren't aren't even constitutional that need to be getting rid of instead of be trying to make them uniform. I'd rather get rid of laws than impose other restrictions and excises on persons. To establish uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States. So, we haven't had a uniform, we haven't been following a uniform law on bankruptcies in the last 5 years. We've had some companies get bailed out. We've had some companies go bankrupt. We've had some banks get bailed out. We've had some banks go bankrupt. I mean, it seems like the well-connected get bailed out, and the not so well-connected get screwed. Congress also has the power to coin money. I can think of a couple of reasons why I mentioned that one. They also have the power to declare war. So, when was the last time we declared war? I think the last time we did that would be World War II. Vietnam, I do believe we went to Vietnam over a that's a good question. Vietnam, I think, was a NATO thing. Well, I know for sure Korea was. Korea was a NATO a NATO, what do they call that? A NATO or a UN resolution. Afghanistan, I don't believe was declared. No, Afghanistan was declared. We went after the Taliban. But then Bush also declared mission complete. So we should be out of Afghanistan. And we got Bin Laden. So who was the guy that we were supposed to be going after? So we should be done with Afghanistan. I don't know why we're still there. We got Bin Laden. Let's get the fuck out of there. Iraq definitely wasn't declared. Syria, not declared. Libya, not declared. Anyways, and at the end of Article 1, Section 8, there's this passage to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers. Okay? And all powers vested by the Constitution in the government and of the United States or in the department or officer thereof. So that's basically saying that, oh yeah, the Constitution specifically enumerates powers, and all the other powers are left to the states via the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment says, the power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. And that basically says that what the Constitution doesn't specifically authorize, all those powers are left to the states, except for powers that may be written in the Constitution, but the states say, no, we had enough of y'all. Y'all can't have that power no more. We're taking that power back. And I do believe it's a majority of 2/3 of the states or something like that have to agree to do that. That's the U.S. Constitution and the powers of Congress. Congress does not have any power that is not specifically enumerated in the U.S. Constitution, specifically Article 1, Section 8, and specifically Article 1, Section 8, and we don't, and all other powers are therefore delegated, left to the states.